The galaxy had always looked at Earth as just another tiny speck in the vast expanse of space. It was a planet that was too small, too primitive, and too insignificant to pose any real threat. But one day, that changed. A fleet of alien ships, sleek and ominous, arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system. Their arrival was silent, their presence impossible to ignore. The Earth's defense systems immediately detected their ships, but there was no way to prepare for what was coming. This was not a simple invasion, it was something far worse. The aliens were here to end humanity once and for all. The first contact came through a broadcast. The aliens spoke in a language no one on Earth understood, but they didn't need to. The message was clear, and the tone was cold, threatening. The words were translated by Earth's most advanced systems, but the meaning was simple. We are the Zorvans. We have come to erase your existence. Our Doomsday device is already in place. There is no escape. Panic spread like wildfire across Earth. World leaders scrambled to respond, but nothing they did could stop the reality of the situation. The Zorvans had made their intentions clear. The device they spoke of wasn't a weapon that could be fired. It was a massive, planet-destroying machine designed to eradicate life in an instant. If they activated it, Earth would be reduced to nothing but a pile of dust. The news spread quickly, and fear swept through the entire planet. People huddled in their homes, waiting for the inevitable. Governments tried to form a plan, but the sheer scale of the alien power was overwhelming. Military forces were already preparing for a battle they knew they couldn't win. There were no weapons, no technology advanced enough to challenge the Zorvans. In the midst of this chaos, a single voice rose above the panic. General Aiden Walker, the commander of Earth's unified defense forces, addressed the world in a rare broadcast. His face was stern, his eyes filled with determination. "People of Earth," he said, his voice steady, "we stand at the brink of annihilation. The enemy is powerful, but they have made a grave mistake. They underestimate us. Humanity has faced challenges far greater than this. We will fight. We will not bow down. We will resist." His words gave a glimmer of hope to the billions watching. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. Humanity was up against an enemy with the power to destroy them all. What chance did they have? Still, General Walker's message sparked something in the hearts of Earth's people. A spark of defiance. They would fight, even if they couldn't win. As the days passed, the alien ships remained in orbit, watching, waiting. The Doomsday device, a massive machine unlike anything humanity had ever seen, was placed in the center of the Zorvan fleet. It was a massive sphere, surrounded by hundreds of smaller ships, each one brimming with deadly technology. Earth's sensors detected the device charging, its energy readings off the charts. It was only a matter of time before the Zorvans would activate it, and Earth would be gone. But as the countdown to Earth's destruction began, something strange started happening. Across the planet, people began to take action. They weren't soldiers, they weren't military leaders. They were regular people, farmers, teachers, scientists, and engineers. They began to prepare, not for defeat, but for a fight. They worked together in ways they never had before, building makeshift weapons, reprogramming old technology, and creating plans that no one could have predicted. In the midst of this, one scientist, Dr. Elena Hayes, had a breakthrough. A former member of the Earth Defense Network, she had worked on human weaponry, but her true expertise lay in unconventional methods of defense. As she watched the Zorvans' movements from her lab, she realized something that the rest of the world had missed. The Zorvans' Doomsday device, for all its terrifying power, had a single critical weakness. It wasn't the device itself that was the problem. It was the Zorvans' reliance on technology, their belief that machines were infallible, that gave humanity the opening it needed. Dr. Hayes quickly shared her findings with General Walker and his team. Together, they devised a plan, an unorthodox one, but one that might just work. They wouldn't fight the Zorvans with brute force. They would fight them with something the Zorvans couldn't predict. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology. It was its unpredictability, its ability to adapt, and its sheer will to survive. The plan was simple. They would show the Zorvans that humanity couldn't be predicted, that they couldn't be controlled. The world would unite, not in fear, but in defiance. They would broadcast a message to the Zorvans, one that would make them question everything they thought they knew about Earth. As Dr. Hayes worked on the technical side of things, General Walker rallied the global leaders. They weren't just preparing for a last stand. They were preparing for a show of strength. They would send a message, not only to the Zorvans but to the entire galaxy. Earth would not be a passive target. The time was running out. The Zorvans' countdown was nearing its final moments, and every second that passed made humanity's plan riskier. But Earth wasn't going to die without a fight. General Walker's words echoed in every person's mind. We will resist. The world was coming together like never before. And then, just as the alien fleet prepared to unleash their Doomsday device, the broadcast went live. Dr. Hayes had activated the message, a simple but powerful transmission. We are humans, and we have only just begun to fight. The Zorvans, watching from their ships, were momentarily stunned. They had expected terror. They had expected panic. Instead, they saw defiance, a humanity ready to stand tall. The message wasn't just words. It was a declaration that Earth was no longer a passive, helpless planet. It was a warning to the Zorvans. They had underestimated humanity, and that would be their greatest mistake. But would it be enough to stop the Doomsday device? Could this message alone save Earth, or would the Zorvans proceed with their plans, confident in their victory? The clock was ticking, and the battle for Earth's future was about to begin. The alien fleet's presence in Earth's orbit had sent shockwaves through the entire world, but there was a strange undercurrent of determination in the air. Despite the overwhelming odds, Earth was not giving up. Humanity, faced with the threat of extinction, was finding strength in its unity and ingenuity. As the Zorvans prepared to activate their Doomsday device, a glimmer of hope appeared. Dr. Elena Hayes, the brilliant scientist, had unlocked a crucial flaw in the enemy's plan. The Zorvans had designed their weapon with a critical weakness, something that no one had noticed before. It wasn't the Doomsday device itself, but rather the way the Zorvans controlled it. The device relied on a central processing unit that could be overridden, a vulnerability that could be exploited if Earth acted fast enough. The question wasn't whether Earth could stop the device. It was whether they could do it in time. Dr. Hayes worked tirelessly with a small team, developing a way to hack into the Zorvans' system and disrupt the Doomsday device's activation sequence. It was a long shot, but it was the only chance they had. While she labored in secrecy, General Aidan Walker coordinated with Earth's leaders to prepare for the coming assault. The world was coming together in ways it never had before. Countries that had once been rivals now shared resources and information. People from all walks of life, scientists, engineers, soldiers, and civilians, worked around the clock, building makeshift weapons and fortifying cities, ready for the final battle. There was no more fear, only a single-minded drive to survive. As the hours ticked away, the countdown to the Doomsday device's activation grew shorter. The Zorvans had no idea what was coming. They were confident in their power, too sure that the weapon was unstoppable. But what they didn't understand was that humans didn't fight with technology alone. They fought with everything they had: ingenuity, resilience, and the will to never surrender. The Zorvans thought they had calculated every possible outcome, but they had never accounted for the unpredictability of human spirit. The first phase of the plan was simple. Earth would broadcast a message to the Zorvans, something that would make them pause, if only for a moment. It wasn't just a plea for mercy, but a declaration of resistance. Dr. Hayes' team had carefully crafted the transmission, embedding a signal that would broadcast not only a message of defiance, but a signal to disrupt the Doomsday device's power grid. At the exact moment Earth's message reached the alien fleet, a surge of energy would cause a brief disruption in the Zorvan systems, buying them precious seconds to stop the device from activating. As the world held its breath, the broadcast went live. The message wasn't complex. It was direct, powerful, and unyielding. We are humans. We will fight. It wasn't a message of fear or submission. It was a promise. And as the words echoed across the alien fleet's communication systems, something unexpected happened. The Zorvans, accustomed to domination and control, paused. For the first time, they were faced with something they hadn't anticipated: defiance, a challenge they weren't prepared for. But the disruption wasn't enough to stop the device entirely. The Zorvans quickly recalibrated, and the countdown resumed, faster now, the pressure mounting. As Earth's last line of defense, General Walker's forces prepared for an all-out assault. Humanity's best fighters were ready to make their stand, knowing that even if they didn't win, they would make the Zorvans remember them. The final stages of the plan were set in motion. Earth's military units launched a daring attack on the alien mothership. Fighter jets, missiles, and even ground troops were mobilized in a desperate bid to infiltrate the Zorvan stronghold. In the chaos, Earth's best engineers worked to hack into the alien systems, overriding the Zorvan security measures to shut down the Doomsday device before it could finish charging. It was a race against time. If they didn't act fast, Earth's final hope would be wiped out in an instant. Back in the Zorvan command center, the alien leaders were growing frustrated. Their systems were glitching. The transmission from Earth had caused unexpected interference. They hadn't anticipated such resistance from a primitive species. Their commander, high-ranking and ruthless, ordered a countermeasure. The Zorvans would stop the humans. Now, they couldn't allow this delay to last any longer. But despite all their technological superiority, the Zorvans didn't know what to make of this new threat. Humanity's ability to adapt, to surprise, and to fight with everything they had, even against the most overwhelming odds. The human spirit, unbroken and fierce, had already shifted the course of the battle. The aliens had assumed their victory was inevitable. They were wrong. As the last minutes ticked away, Earth's forces made one final push. A fleet of fighters, against all odds, managed to penetrate the Zorvan's defenses. The moment was closing in. General Walker's voice crackled through the comms. "We've come this far. We can't back down now." Earth's defenders were up against a massive, technologically superior force, but they were fighting for something far bigger than just survival. They were fighting for their world, their people, their future. The Zorvans had underestimated humanity's will to live. They thought they could wipe Earth from the map, but they had underestimated the fire that burned in every human heart. And as Earth's final strike drew near, there was a moment of silence. For one brief, fleeting second, everything seemed to stop. The fate of Earth and humanity itself rested on the actions of a few brave souls. Would Earth rise, or would the Zorvans have the last word? The answer was coming, but no one knew for sure. As the countdown for Earth's destruction continued, the Zorvans began to grow more confident. Their massive fleet, poised above the planet, hummed with power as the Doomsday device neared full activation. The weapon, an enormous energy cannon capable of obliterating the entire planet in a flash, was almost ready to fire. There was no turning back now for the Zorvans. They believed Earth's resistance would crumble before their might. After all, Earth was just a speck in the universe, its people no match for the technological superiority of the Zorvans. Or so they thought. However, something unexpected was happening. The human resistance, growing more organized with every passing day, wasn't backing down. Humanity was showing the Zorvans something they had never anticipated: the power of unpredictability. Earth's people, in their defiance, had proven to be a challenge the aliens weren't prepared for. The message that had been broadcast from Earth, a simple but powerful statement, "We are humans. We will fight," had made a mark. It was the first chink in the Zorvans' armor. Though they tried to dismiss it, the alien fleet's command was shaken. The Zorvans had expected fear, panic, and surrender. What they didn't expect was unity, determination, and defiance. Earth's ability to unite in the face of overwhelming odds left them perplexed. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. They had calculated every move, every possible outcome, but the humans had found a way to throw off their plans. As the alien fleet regrouped, the tension in the control room was palpable. The Zorvan leader, a towering figure clad in sleek armor, barked orders to his subordinates, demanding that the device be ready for activation. They had underestimated Earth's capacity for resistance, and now they would make sure the humans knew their place. But the growing sense of doubt among the alien ranks was evident. Could they really wipe out a species that was fighting back this hard? The Zorvans' belief in their inevitable victory had begun to crack, but their pride and arrogance wouldn't allow them to stop now. Back on Earth, Dr. Elena Hayes continued her work on the plan to disable the Doomsday device. The brief disruption caused by the initial message had bought them some time, but it wasn't enough. The alien fleet was regrouping, and soon they would try to activate the device again. Dr. Hayes had an idea. They needed a second strike, a way to disrupt the alien systems further, long enough to stall the device's activation for good. But it wasn't just technology they were fighting. It was the Zorvans' superior tactics, their overwhelming firepower, and their sheer confidence in their victory. Meanwhile, General Aiden Walker was rallying Earth's forces, preparing them for the final decisive battle. Earth had already thrown everything it had into the fight. Military units, civilian volunteers, and defectors from the alien fleet were now all working together. The unity of purpose was undeniable. The belief that humanity could stand against the odds was spreading faster than any alien weapon ever could. As Walker addressed his troops, his voice unwavering, he reminded them of what they were fighting for. We're not just fighting to survive. We're fighting to show the universe that Earth won't go down without a fight. No one has ever seen the strength of humanity until now. But the Zorvans weren't done yet. In a last-ditch effort to regain control, they began deploying advanced drones to protect the Doomsday device, sending out waves of smaller ships to keep Earth's forces at bay. The Zorvans knew their time was running out, but they also knew that if they could just hold on a little longer, the Doomsday device would be ready to destroy the planet. With every passing minute, the countdown to Earth's annihilation inched closer to zero. Dr. Hayes and her team were working feverishly, trying to find the exact moment to hack into the Zorvans' command systems. Their last hope rested on the success of this final attempt. They knew that if they could interrupt the Zorvans' control at just the right moment, they might be able to stop the weapon from firing. At the same time, Walker's forces were moving in, getting closer to the alien mothership. Earth's defense had become more than just military. It was a symbol of resilience, a statement to the aliens that humanity would not give up. Even if Earth's forces couldn't win, they would make the Zorvans pay for every moment they had threatened the planet. And then, as Earth's final forces launched their offensive against the alien fleet, a surprising development occurred. A defected Zorvan officer, one of the fleet's highest-ranking members, made contact with Earth's military. He claimed to have knowledge of the Zorvan systems and offered his help. At first, no one could believe it. Could they trust a former enemy? But desperation drove the decision. They had no other choice. With the officer's assistance, Earth's engineers gained critical access to the alien systems by passing several security layers that had previously been impenetrable. The defected officer's information led them to a crucial discovery, a hidden flaw in the Zorvans' communication network. If they could exploit this weakness, Earth's forces could hack into the Doomsday device's core, rendering it useless. The officer had provided the key, but now it was up to Dr. Hayes and her team to execute the plan. As Earth's military and the defected officer worked together, time was quickly running out. The Zorvans, now realizing their systems were being breached, scrambled to regain control of their devices. The Doomsday device, its power building once again, was only moments away from firing. Earth's final hope lay in the hands of a few brave souls who were willing to risk everything to stop the aliens. The message had been sent. The world had fought back. But would it be enough? Would humanity survive, or would the Zorvins' final blow bring an end to everything? The fate of Earth was still hanging in the balance as the countdown reached its final seconds. As the countdown to Earth's destruction neared its final moments, the tension was almost unbearable. Humanity's last hope rested on a thin thread. The Zorvins, confident in their technological superiority, were certain that the Doomsday device would soon wipe out the planet. They had underestimated Earth's ability to adapt, to fight back in ways no one could have predicted. But now, they were starting to realize that the humans they thought of as primitive were capable of much more than they ever expected. In the heart of Earth's defense network, General Aiden Walker's forces were making their final push. The military had coordinated an all-out attack on the alien fleet, but the Zorvins had fortified their defenses. The skies above Earth were filled with the sound of lasers, missiles, and explosions as Earth's remaining forces clashed with the alien ships. In the midst of this chaos, Dr. Elena Hayes and her team of engineers worked tirelessly to exploit the Zorvins' weakness. The clock was ticking, and they knew they had to act quickly. Dr. Hayes had cracked the code. The Zorvins had relied too heavily on their advanced technology and hadn't accounted for one thing. Humans had the uncanny ability to improvise, to make quick decisions under pressure. Through her analysis, she discovered that the communication flaw in the Zorvins' network wasn't just a small oversight. It was a massive vulnerability. The Zorvins had been so sure of their technological might that they hadn't bothered to secure their communication protocols properly. With this newfound knowledge, Dr. Hayes could now override the alien systems and sabotage the Doomsday device's core function. As she prepared to deliver the final blow to the Zorvins' control center, the gravity of the situation hit her. They weren't just hacking into an enemy system. They were fighting for the survival of every human on Earth. The weight of it was crushing, but there was no time for hesitation. With a final glance at her team, Dr. Hayes activated the override command, sending a surge of code into the Zorvins' network. At that exact moment, the Zorvins' fleet was hit with another unexpected twist. The defected Zorvin officer, whose insider knowledge had been crucial to their plan, was cornered by his former comrades. The alien commander, furious at the betrayal, ordered the officer's execution. But in his final act, the officer managed to transmit a signal to Earth's forces. This last message contained a key piece of information about the Zorvins' fail-safe systems, a code that could disable the remaining defenses protecting the Doomsday device. With this information, Earth's engineers now had everything they needed to complete the mission. Back on the battlefield, the alien fleet was growing increasingly chaotic. The Zorvins, still reeling from the human resistance, struggled to maintain their composure. As Earth's forces pushed forward, the sheer determination of humanity was starting to chip away at the Zorvins' once impenetrable confidence. They had never expected the humans to fight so fiercely. They thought they could crush Earth's spirit with a single blow. But instead, they had unleashed a storm they couldn't control. Dr. Hayes' fingers flew across the console, inputting the final code to deactivate the Doomsday device. The Zorvin systems began to stutter, their massive weapons power fading as Earth's signal took hold. The countdown on the device flickered, then stopped altogether. For the first time since the Zorvins arrived, the alien fleet was no longer in control. But the fight wasn't over yet. As the Doomsday device powered down, the Zorvins' fleet began to retaliate. Desperate to regain control, they launched a barrage of missiles at Earth's defenses, determined to finish what they had started. General Walker's forces, battered and exhausted, now had to deal with the final push from the aliens. It was all or nothing. If they didn't stop the Zorvins now, there was no telling how long humanity would have to wait before the aliens came back. At that moment, Earth's forces launched their last line of defense, an all-out assault on the Zorvins' flagship. The Zorvans had underestimated the strength of Earth's military when they arrived. They had thought it would be easy to wipe out a primitive species, but now they were facing an entirely different kind of fight. The humans weren't going down without a fight, and they had brought every resource they had left to bear. General Walker led the charge, his forces battling with all their might against the remaining Zorvan ships. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Every attack, every maneuver was a matter of life or death. But even in the face of overwhelming odds, Earth's soldiers were relentless. As the battle raged on, the tide began to turn. One by one, the Zorvan ships were taken out, their fleet slowly dwindling as Earth's forces pressed forward. Back in the control center, Dr. Hayes and her team monitored the systems, ensuring the Zorvans couldn't launch any last-minute counterattacks. She watched as Earth's forces continued to push back the alien fleet, the hope of survival growing with every second. And then it happened. The Zorvans' mothership, the centerpiece of their invasion, began to break apart. Earth's forces had finally overwhelmed their defenses. As the Zorvan fleet retreated into the dark reaches of space, the Earth stood on the edge of a new dawn. The victory over the alien invaders was monumental, but it was not without its scars. The battle had left its mark on humanity, not just in the physical destruction of cities, but in the psyche of the survivors. The world had faced near annihilation, and in that moment of darkness, they had discovered a strength they never knew they had. In the aftermath of the attack, the leaders of Earth began the task of rebuilding. The destruction caused by the alien assault had been severe, but not insurmountable. The world's nations, once divided by borders and politics, now found themselves united in a common cause: to rebuild and prepare for any future threats. The military, having experienced firsthand the power of human unity and resilience, set aside old rivalries and began working together. The scientific community, once fragmented, now pooled their resources to develop new technologies, not just to defend Earth, but to ensure that humanity would never again be caught off guard. But the Zorvans' retreat was not the end. It was a warning. The alien race had underestimated the humans, but they would surely be back. The question wasn't whether they would come again. It was when. General Aiden Walker, still at the helm of Earth's defenses, knew that the fight was far from over. He gathered his remaining forces, not to celebrate their victory, but to prepare for the inevitable return of the Zorvans. Meanwhile, Dr. Elena Hayes, who had played a pivotal role in disabling the Doomsday device, found herself in a strange place. The war was over, but she couldn't shake the feeling that they had won only by sheer luck. She and her team had exploited a weakness in the Zorvans' technology, but that didn't mean Earth was safe. What if the Zorvans had other weapons, more advanced than the Doomsday device? Or worse, what if they had learned from their failure and would return with a vengeance, more prepared than ever? Her concerns were shared by many of Earth's top strategists and military leaders. While Earth had won this battle, it was clear that their technological progress was no match for the alien race's vast resources and experience in warfare. The Zorvans had retreated, but the stakes had only grown higher. Earth was now firmly in their sights, and it was only a matter of time before they would return. But there was hope. Earth's people had faced annihilation and come out victorious. They had proven their strength, their resourcefulness, and their will to survive. The global response was swift. Earth's leaders agreed that humanity's survival depended on readiness and adaptability. They would not rely solely on military power. Instead, they began investing in new technologies, gathering intelligence on possible alien races, and strengthening their unity as a species. Humanity was not just surviving. They were evolving, learning from their past mistakes, and preparing for the next challenge. On a global scale, Earth's nations began to work in unison, sharing knowledge, technology, and resources in a way never before seen in human history. The victory over the Zorvans had sparked something deeper in the hearts of the people. The idea that humanity could overcome the impossible had given birth to an unshakable belief in their collective potential. From the poorest villages to the tallest cities, Earth's people rallied together, knowing that their future and the future of their children depended on their ability to protect their home. And in the midst of it all, a new generation began to rise. Children born in the wake of the invasion grew up with stories of the battle, hearing from their parents and elders about the strength it took to defend their planet. These children, raised on the idea of unity and resilience, would carry Earth's legacy forward, better equipped to face the challenges that lay ahead. They would be the ones to take humanity's fight into the stars if the Zorvans, or any other species, came again. But in the quiet moments, as Earth began to heal, the question lingered in the minds of every human who had lived through the war. What did the Zorvans really learn from their defeat? Had they underestimated humanity because they saw them as weak, or had they simply been caught off guard by the ferocity of human resistance? It was hard to say, but one thing was certain. The galaxy had changed that day. Earth had sent a message to the stars, one that would echo across the universe. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. They would not be wiped out or crushed by invaders. They would fight. They would survive. And if necessary, they would rise up once again. As the last remnants of the alien fleet disappeared from Earth's orbit, humanity was left with a bittersweet victory. They had saved their world, but they had also been marked. The universe knew now that Earth was not to be underestimated. The Zorvans might have retreated for now, but there were other races, other dangers, lurking beyond the stars. Yet, for the first time in human history, Earth's people knew that no matter what the future held, they were ready. The world had been forever changed, but so had humanity. And as the survivors looked toward the future, they knew that their story was just beginning. The fight for their planet, for their future, was far from over. But if there was one thing the galaxy had learned, it was this: humanity would not go down without a fight. No matter how overwhelming the odds, no matter how fierce the enemy, Earth's response would always be the same: we will fight. The universe would come to understand that humanity was not just a species on a small blue planet. It was a force to be reckoned with. You said. General Walker's voice crackled over the comms. This is it. The fleet's going down. Keep pushing forward. And with that, the final assault was launched. A well-placed shot from Earth's remaining fighters hit the Zorvans' flagship, and the ship erupted in a burst of flames. The alien fleet, now decimated and in retreat, had no choice but to abandon their mission. The victory was hard-won, but it was theirs. The countdown had been stopped, the Doomsday device was disabled, and Earth was safe, at least for now. Humanity had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, not because of superior technology or weapons, but because of one simple truth: they refused to give up. As the dust settled, and the remnants of the alien fleet drifted into the vastness of space, Earth's people came together in a collective moment of triumph. They had done it. Against all odds, they had survived. And in that moment, the Zorvans, and the galaxy at large, learned a valuable lesson: never underestimate the heart of humanity. As the days passed, and the immediate threat from the Zorvans faded, Earth's people began to return to some semblance of normality, though the memory of the invasion remained fresh in their minds. The global infrastructure, though battered, was beginning to rebuild, and nations were forging stronger alliances than ever before. But while Earth's surface began to heal, a deeper change was taking place in the hearts and minds of its people. The war with the Zorvans had left humanity scared, but it had also opened their eyes to their true potential. They had faced the unimaginable and had come out on top, not because they were technologically superior, but because they refused to back down, refused to let fear dictate their future. Earth's victory wasn't just military. It was a victory of the human spirit. General Aidan Walker, now regarded as one of the greatest military leaders in history, found himself at the forefront of Earth's transformation. The war had taken its toll on him. The faces of the soldiers who had fought alongside him, the lives lost in battle, haunted him in quiet moments. But amidst the grief and loss, there was also hope. The people of Earth had rallied around the idea of unity, and now they were working together to ensure that nothing like the Zorvan invasion could ever threaten their world again. Dr. Elena Hayes, whose role in hacking the Doomsday device had turned the tide of battle, found herself at the head of a new project, an initiative to push the boundaries of Earth's technology. The defeat of the Zorvans had shown her just how vulnerable the planet was in the vastness of the cosmos. But it had also proven that Earth had untapped potential, the ability to innovate in ways that even the most advanced alien civilizations hadn't considered. As she worked on the new technologies, she couldn't shake the nagging question: what if there are worse threats out there? Her work became a constant race to stay ahead of the curve, to make sure Earth was never caught off guard again. But there were others, too, who saw the victory as more than just a fight for survival. It was a call to action. The survivors of the invasion were not just rebuilding cities, they were reshaping the way Earth interacted with the rest of the universe. Scientists, engineers, and diplomats worked together to form a unified strategy that would ensure Earth's place in the galaxy was one of strength, not weakness. Humanity was no longer the underdog. They had proven themselves capable of standing toe-to-toe with a formidable alien race and surviving. Now, Earth's leaders were determined to make sure the next battle, if it came, would be fought on their terms. But despite all the progress, the memory of the Zorvans' invasion lingered. Earth had come to realize something crucial. The universe was vast, and they were just one small part of it. As humans looked to the stars, they knew there were other civilizations out there. Some friendly, others not so much. The Zorvans may have retreated for now, but Earth could not afford to rest on its laurels. The galaxy was full of dangers, and many of them had already noticed humanity's unexpected resilience. The UN, once a body divided by political interests, now functioned as a united front. Earth's global leaders, who had once bickered over trivial issues, now focused on one singular mission: preparedness. Earth was no longer content to just survive. They wanted to thrive. The lessons learned from the invasion became the foundation for a new era of cooperation between nations, and for the first time, the borders that had separated them seemed irrelevant. The threat of the Zorvans had united them in a way nothing else ever could. And yet, despite the global unity and progress, Earth's people couldn't shake the reality of their new position in the universe. They had defeated one enemy, but there were many others, and humanity had no idea what else was out there. The unknown hung over them like a shadow, but it was a shadow that they were no longer afraid of. They were ready for whatever came next. Their victory over the Zorvans had proven to them that the human spirit, once awakened, could never be crushed. General Walker stood before the assembly of Earth's new united military leadership, looking out at a world transformed. The faces that had once looked to him for guidance were now resolute, filled with the same determination he had witnessed during the battle. "We've proven something," he said, his voice strong and steady. "We've shown the universe that we are not to be underestimated. We've won the battle, but the war for Earth's future is just beginning. Our enemies will come again, and we will be ready." Dr. Hayes, standing beside him, added, "We must remember that victory is not just about winning the fight. It's about ensuring that we never find ourselves unprepared again. Technology, defense, diplomacy. It all matters. We must grow stronger, smarter, and faster than any enemy that comes our way. This is our future now, and it is one we will shape ourselves." The room fell silent, each person absorbing the weight of their words. They knew the path ahead would be difficult, and the risks of alien threats were ever present. But they also knew something much more important. They had something no other civilization could claim: a fire within them, a determination to fight for their survival and their future. The Zorvans may have left Earth for now, but the galaxy would not forget what had happened on this small blue planet. Earth had sent a message to the universe. Humanity was not weak, and it would not bow to any force, no matter how powerful. It had taken its stand, and it had survived. As Earth began to rebuild, with every passing day, its people became more and more determined to protect their home. The legacy of the Zorvan invasion had cemented a new identity for humanity, a species that had faced annihilation and fought back. Their victory was more than just a survival story. It was the beginning of Earth's ascent into a new era, one where they would no longer be passive observers in the galaxy, but active players in the universe's grand stage. And as the stars shone brightly above, Earth's people looked out into the cosmos with renewed purpose. They had proven themselves worthy. Now, they would wait for the Zorvans to return, wait for new threats to emerge, but more importantly, they would wait for the moment when the universe finally understood. Humanity was ready for whatever came next.